officially entered the waters of North Korea. What's going on there? It's still very hard to say. Uncles secretly practicing Kung Fu. They have bills, North Korean cigarettes, meeting with North Koreans. Their communist friends. Korean military showed up right at the border fence. The actual border of China and North Korea. I have no idea where we are going right now. A random harbor in China's bumfuck nowhere. North Korean propaganda boat. Some abandoned industrial zone. Sketchy looking boats. Condoms and lubricants. Are these people happy? We are officially in the waters of North Korea. North Korea has always been a desirable destination for people who like adventurous kind of traveling. The country is very remote and barely accessible in a way that it's very difficult to get visa to access it. And it's still very difficult to get to North Korea. However, I managed to get as much close as possible to the border of North Korea, and therefore I reached the Chinese city called Dandong, where I'm filming this video. And today and tomorrow we are going to explore the border area of China and North Korea. While following the street which is leading to the border area, so to the river which separates two countries, I randomly stumbled upon a North Korean establishment, or at least the establishment associated with North Korea. So having used Google Translate, I discovered that this is one of the travel agencies which organized one-day tours to North Korea specifically and to North Korean border. So because the country is currently closed for tourism, even short trips like one-day trips are impossible. And perhaps this is the reason why this agency is closed right now. Here we can see some interesting pictures illustrating probably the border area of China and North Korea. This is the boat, by the way. So taking a boat down the river in the vicinity of Dandong, or actually in the city, is still possible. So tourists are allowed to take this kind of short boat tours. And when you take this boat tour, this is actually the moment when you reach the actual border of China and North Korea, because it crosses like the middle of the river. So is it possible to take a boat tour down Yellow River?
对对对，游船看朝鲜。
Okay, so there is one tourist agency that actually offers boat tours down the Yellow River, and I've just booked the tour for tomorrow. It costs 100 yuan, which is roughly, should be less than $15, but now let's explore the city on foot. We are now approaching the Yellow River, which creates natural border between China and North Korea. We can already see the North Korean side of the border from here. This is my second time in life when I see North Korea. The very first time was 4 years ago when I traveled to Russia, North Korea and China three-border area. So I approached North Korea from Russian side, but back then I was only able to see tops of mountains situated in North Korea, and now I see the actual coastline. Well, the riverbank. The surrounding area here on this waterfront on Chinese side is very chill. So see, there is a bunch of fishermen. These buildings over there, they're situated on one of the islands in the river, and this island already belongs to North Korea. So all of these houses, they are not in China. There is the bridge which connects China and North Korea, and this is the vital point for North Korea's economy, because the goods from China enter North Korea mainly from this border crossing. So I've been to the waterfront for about 10 minutes, and this is the very first truck which I see which crosses the bridge. This is the China Post truck which is currently entering North Korea, which basically means that the border is open for some services, for cargo. So there are two bridges which are leading to North Korea, but one of the bridges is literally broken, and this bridge is known as the Broken Bridge. So this is actually the very first bridge which was built here in the 1911, if I'm not mistaken, by Japan, when this territory was under the Japanese rule. What happened to this bridge, why it's broken? But basically, in times of the Korean War, China supplied North Korea with ammunition and stuff. So basically this bridge was targeted by the American Air Forces, and they basically bombarded it. So part of the bridge was damaged, and North Korea decided to leave it as it is. So they didn't plan to restore the bridge, to make it as a memorial basically of that bombardment. But yeah, so there is actually the second bridge. This is the current like friendship bridge, so the working bridge which connects two countries. It is combined bridge in a way that it can allow both cars like vehicles and trains to cross. So this bridge was built in 1940s, also by Japan, funnily enough. So we have just seen the cargo train entering Chinese territory from North Korea. A lot of goods are transported by railway transport, so it's still an important means of transportation in North Korea, but it's also very functional in China. So the closer we are getting to the broken bridge, the more touristy the area becomes. So we can already see some street vendors selling different kinds of souvenirs. Here you can buy actual like Korean money. They have bills, they have coins over here. Yeah, they have a lot of magnets illustrating these bridges. So just 25 RMB, so like $3 basically for the collection of potentially fake Korean money. Maybe they are real, I don't know. And this is similar. Yeah, okay, it's basically similar kit. Oh, that's interesting. So the guy is selling cigarettes. Let's just try to use Korean language and see if it works. Oh, indeed. Okay. So this could be Korean cigarettes. I don't know, all of them look interesting, but this one, for example. So 20 RMB for this, okay. $3 for supposedly North Korean cigarettes, potentially illegally smuggled into China. Just less than $3 for actual cigarettes, very interesting. Look at that, it looks like, I don't know, it's like a carrot or something, or some other vegetables. Ni hao, hello?
你好，坐船吗？
Boat tour. Oh, okay.
坐船呢？
Yeah, I've already booked one. I already have boat tour. Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm making my own tour, enjoying the surrounding area of North Korea. So I guess we just see regular fishermen on the boat. But on the background, behind these fishermen, there is a giant building which used to be abandoned 5 or 10 years ago, based on some old reports from this area. What's going on there, it's still very hard to say because of the weather condition. I cannot even see the building clearly, but the guys indeed just seem to do fishing. And I guess for us it's high time to get to the bridge, because the later we get there, the more crowded it will be. Ni hao, can I get one ticket to the bridge?
Okay.
How much?
30.
30, okay. See. Right in front of the entrance to the bridge there is the memorial illustrating Chinese volunteers, Chinese soldiers, the very first group of Chinese soldiers who was sent to North Korea in times of the Korean War. And they're basically facing the bridge which they had to cross back in times. This is the broken bridge across Yalu River. In 1950, when there was the Korean War, South was fighting the North, and China was obviously backing up North Korea, their communist friends. They basically sent their troops in October 1950, so the memorial site at the entrance to the bridge was illustrating that soldiers. And then in November, so just 1 month after that, the US Air Forces conducted the campaign of airstrikes, and they basically ruined part of this bridge on the North Korean side of the border. Since then, that broken part of the bridge has never been restored, so North Korea decided to just leave it as it is. Apparently this part of the bridge in Chinese side was not really damaged, so eventually after a while they opened access here to public, and nowadays it's just one of the tourist attractions. Staying here on this bridge, we can see the contrast between China and North Korea. So on the Chinese side of the border there is hustling and bustling city of Dandong. They have a giant waterfront which stretches all the way there. And we can see North Korean part as well. Well, it's not entirely abandoned, no. So we see some signs of life there. Basically they constructed a bunch of high-rises there. They don't have such a solid waterfront as they do in China. So there is just like a wild forest facing the river. And of course there is significantly less people inhabiting that part of the river compared to Chinese side. So this seems to be the closest point to the actual border to which you can get following the path on this bridge. We are just 80 meters from the actual China-North Korea border. You cannot walk any further following this path, it's blocked. So you came here to see this bridge?
We came here for a meeting and just go around and see the North Korea.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Meeting with North Koreans?
I hope so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're also exploring this area?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Which part of China you're from?
Southwest, Sichuan.
Sichuan. Okay, fantastic. Beautiful region. I haven't been there yet, but I want to do so. quite ironic that in front of the North Korean border they also have a store with supposedly Russian products. We can see Matryoshka depicted there. Well, now I'm curious to walk down the waterfront to see more of the border area, specifically more of the river. Because you see all of these new houses on the North Korean island. I had no idea that they existed before, so I guess it's a good opportunity for us to get closer to them and see what's going on there. On the embankment we can see the Chinese uncles secretly practicing Kung Fu. In fact, these are just their daily exercises. It's very common in China to do open-air exercises, especially among older people. Aunties are dancing. Some of them even wear some Chinese outfits. How lovely. Walking down the waterfront of Yalu River, you can occasionally see the border stones. Well, this one also has flowers placed here. I guess because this is one of the popular photo spots. See? So there are some professional photographers who can get you some traditional Chinese outfit, Chinese clothes for ladies specifically, and photograph you with this memorial stone. And this is another pier from where you can take the boat tour. Well, the boat tours are admittedly cheaper here, so it costs just 60 yuan. And they're quite regular, so I see their departure time 10:15, 11, 13, basically several boat tours a day. And they cover most of the interesting sites here, so you can see portions of North Korea. They basically illustrated what you can see. This guy is very well prepared. He brought his binocular to be able to see what's going on there. Can you see anything there? Can I try? Oh, thank you. See. Oh, see? Made in Russia. I'm from Russia. Oh, there's actually a solid view of the North Korea from this standpoint, so we can see that the factory, that factory in front of us, is actually abandoned. There is nothing going on here. I see some ruins. Okay, see very much. What the hell is this? Is it the North Korean propaganda boat? You can see the flag of North Korea there. Well, totally looks like a border patrol. Well, they have a right to sail down the middle of this part of the river, because this is where North Korea actually starts. So one of the Yalu River boat tours has just started. By this boat you can travel in the vicinity of Dandong to basically see the Chinese side, but most importantly the Korean side of the border as well. So the houses on the background seem to be totally newly built, and it actually looks like a ghost town. I don't see any action going on that side of the border, so I can imagine it being like a showcase of North Korea. So the town which they built intentionally for tourists, so they could see that there is some life going on, some modern life in North Korea. Somewhere on the riverside there is the information for visitors, for tourists, what you cannot do and what you should do, right? And one of the interesting remarks is that it is forbidden to take a photo of North Korean soldiers. So despite the fact that obviously they have no way to reach you, still. So I'm chatting with Chinese uncles who I randomly met on the waterfront. This guy, he's been living here for 50 years and he actually told me a lot of interesting things. First of all, he actually knows some North Koreans who do live here and who travel from North Korea to China, which, so obviously these people exist. And I asked him about the origins of these cigarettes, so he confirmed that these are actually North Korean cigarettes, despite my concerns. And he is showing me now the Korean money, the North Korean money, 5,000 Korean won. Have you ever seen people crossing border illegally from North Korea to China, like crossing the river? So never seen.
No,
Okay, so in case they try to do so, they will be basically... Yeah, no one goes from this side to there. So even locals who spent years of their life here, they've never seen anything like that, because they say that people who try to cross from there to China basically immediately getting executed, probably by border guards. So what we're gonna do right now, we're going to visit the easternmost section of the Great Wall, which is situated not so far from the city. If we climb onto that wall, you'll be able to see another side of North Korea. So let's go straight there. But first of all, let's check out the local public bathroom. So the very cool thing about China is that there are so many public bathrooms which you can visit for free, and they all look pretty clean. There you go. And there are hundreds of them in the city. I'm getting back deeper into the town, passing by dozens of private businesses which occupy the first floor of buildings. There are so many of them. There is basically no free space, no free corner. Every single building, first floors of every single buildings are taken by businesses. The business environment in China is admittedly very competitive. So because of that, pretty much everything is cheap here. So people have to compete with each other for customers. So the lower prices. And sometimes I just ask myself, how is it possible for all of these businesses to survive for such a low profit which they make? But that's the reality of China. I mean, they have almost 1.4 billion people living here in total, so not surprising. There is only India which can beat China in terms of population, but well, it's a completely different story. Well, I have successfully traveled by a local bus to the outskirts of the city, basically, which are remarkable by the fact that the easternmost section of the Great Wall of China is situated here. When I was in the bus, it was very interesting. So it was driving parallel to the border fence, basically, for a few kilometers, and you could see which was going on behind the fence. So the Great Wall is not like the continuous wall which stretches for thousands of kilometers. It actually has a lot of gaps, and this particular section of the Great Wall is relatively short. However, it's special due to its location. From the tower on top of the Great Wall, we can see what's going on in one of the Korean border settlements. Look, there are children literally running for the school, I guess. It totally looks like a school. So we see a lot of new real estate, some multi-story blocks of flats. Oh, there is people. So they have like a cart which is pulled by a horse. Literally like a horsepower. This giant cabin looks like the cabin for police or maybe border guards. Children's playground, empty at this point. And there are just some semi-abandoned rural area. Well, not necessarily abandoned. There you can see plenty of people actually. Funnily enough, none of them has a car, so they all walk. A lot of people there. They're concentrated near the river bank. Maybe they are reinforcing it. There is the bridge, perhaps like an old bridge, leading to the part of the country beyond the river. And this is actually the new bridge, which is probably still under construction, based on its appearance. So yeah, we just got a glimpse of the life in this portion of North Korea. So this giant portion of land beyond the river is already on the territory of North Korea. So from what I can see, they're just doing some agriculture here, some harvesting. And based on the maps, actually, this bridge doesn't exist. So this is a newly built bridge. And in the past, there used to be the ferry, basically. So I guess the guys are progressing and developing their infrastructure. Yeah, speaking about the border security, we can see the amount of guarding towers. So they're placed basically every few hundred meters. So there is no way to skip them if someone wants to. So just now a group of Korean military showed up right at the border fence. Well, it's still a question if they're actually military people or just construction workers, because they are wearing some sort of like red helmets, which are typical for construction workers. Probably they're making another ditch or they're just extending it. Maybe collecting clay for some construction reasons. Actually, plenty of them do nothing, they're just chilling. Here I managed to talk to one of the expats who is teaching English in China. She's been here before, like a couple of years ago, and she said that all of these new towns on the Korean side, they didn't exist. So it's all like brand new construction. Not a single person is sure if people actually live there or not. So this might be just a showcase, like decorations basically for tourists, for us. That's a difficult climb, isn't it? Right. Okay, successfully hitched the tourist bus back to Dandong, and here I am at its main waterfront. Well, you can see that in the afternoon it's way more busy than it was in the morning. So many people came here with tourist groups specifically. It's very common among Chinese people to travel in groups. So I guess I'll just check into the hotel now because I'm honestly tired of carrying my backpack. Let me show you what $13 per night can get you in North Korea border area. This is the room with the king-size bed. Some of the cleanest bathrooms I've seen in the hotels of this price range. Private bathroom, water closet, and my favorite part, mystery box with condoms and lubricants. We still have a little bit of time before sunset, and I want to catch this daytime today at another viewpoint from where we can potentially see the whole city. So I'm going to one of the parks of Dandong. I just called the taxi. It's basically the easiest way to get around. Ni hao.
Hello.
Hello, ni hao. You speak English?
不English 不行。
Okay, no worries.
哎呦我去，红米，你拿的这个是不行。
Okay, 谢谢。
拜拜。
Bye bye, Zaijian. So the point of getting to this park was to reach the pagoda. You can climb on its top and see the surrounding area. There's such a fantastic viewpoint, and they even installed some binoculars. You can see a good portion of the city there on the bottom, portion of the riverside, and actually a little bit of the North Korean city on that side of the river. When it was time for dinner, I decided to look for a North Korean restaurant, and I actually found one nearby. Once I got there, it turned out to be a very local place. No one spoke English, the menu was completely in Chinese, and all the food looked strange and unfamiliar to me. I had absolutely no idea what to order. So I just pointed at a random picture on the menu and ordered it. What I got was a plate of clams. It felt like I was supposed to eat them with something else, but I couldn't find anything more suitable. The cook told me that almost everything there was spicy. I asked for something non-spicy, and this was what she recommended. I tried it, but I didn't like it, and I was still hungry. So in the end, I went to a regular Korean restaurant and ordered a normal dish that I could actually eat. That's how my first experience with Korean food in China went. This is rice, beef, which is accompanied by like carrot, some sauces, kimchi, and basically all of these Korean things. And because of that, altogether, it gives it this like special taste. So it's not spicy, but it's not plain at the same time. Being a complete newbie in Korean food, somehow I managed to find the Korean restaurant, but apparently it had nothing to do with North Korean specialties. So I guess we'll try another time tomorrow to find actually North Korean restaurants which do exist here. Evening dancing classes by uncles and aunties of China. These guys are working with the skipping rope. Fantastic! So we made it to the edge of the riverside. So this is the river. Over there is already North Korea, as you can see. Well, as you cannot see because it's dark there. But there is just some kind of the industrial zone, there is nothing. This newly built real estate is actually illuminated, and it is on the territory of North Korea. So there is the entire light show on the Friendship Bridge. Actually, the whole bridge is illuminated. So with the broken bridge is a little bit more interesting, because only a part of the bridge which has been preserved is illuminated. As long as there are so many tourists today in the evening, street vendors continue working even after 7 p.m. So we reached the opposite side of the broken bridge, and what can I say? Well, I can say that okay, Chinese did good job with all of this illumination, but the side of North Korea is not entirely dead, admittedly, so you can still see lights in all of these buildings. Yes, they don't have embankment, they don't have like solid riverside, but besides that, you can see that actually people live here, there. But yeah, of course, compared to Chinese illumination, it's nothing. So it looks like a ghost town, but it's not. I'm asking myself right now, what do people living on that side feel? seeing all of these things every day and knowing that their country is just complete opposite of China. I mean, how undeveloped the world where they live. Do we even think about it? Do they understand it? Like, how many of people who live there who are here? It's a mystery to me. Like, are these people happy? What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments. Day 2 of exploring North Korean border area. This day is going to start with the boat tour which I booked yesterday. I already prepared for it. This was the travel agency. And hey, there is someone. Ni hao, ni hao, ni hao. Hello. Yeah, I guess the boat tour is going to take place. For now I can play with this lovely kitty. Dun, 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 dun. So the travel agency happened to be legit indeed. There is going to be the boat tour, and what is more, there is the transfer in form of this van. So the van came here to pick me up, and we are going somewhere. I guess that's the beginning of the show. Hello, ni hao. I'm getting out. Okay. Okay, I'm traveling with you. Okay. I think that I'm going to travel with this lovely ladies today. Oh, I don't speak Chinese. So I guess what happened is that the guy who sold me the tour, that travel agency, it was basically the intermediate agent. So he just provided the transfer for me, who got me a lift to this travel agency, and now I'm going to deal with them. Because there are already a few people who are going to join me on the tour, and I'm basically going to be delivered to, I guess, the boat by the bus or something of these guys right now. So apparently the tour has just started. It started from a little bus tour, so the lady, the travel guide, is now telling what's going on in Chinese language for other tourists. So we are just driving along the North Korea right now. So the tour started from going to some southern neighborhoods of Dandong, and just now we made it to one of the islands where China basically built an entirely new neighborhood, like a completely new real estate. And this island is remarkable by the fact that this is, again, one of the close points to North Korea. So if you have an apartment there, for example, you can see the entire coastal area of North Korea on that side of the border. You can also see a portion of, well, you can actually see the entire bridge, both Broken Bridge and the Friendship Bridge there. And this is just the riverside of Dandong. So this area is called Lunar Island. So this is basically the place with some new development, new real estate, new businesses like restaurants, cafes and stuff. And the most remarkable part of this place is obviously the fact that this is one of the closest points to the border, right? To the border between China and North Korea, and this is a fantastic vantage point to observe the city of Sinuiju, which is situated on that bank of the river in North Korea. So let's see what's going on the North Korean bank of the river. There is basically a local river port, a little bit of the industrial zone, I would say. You can also see some residential area on the background. China did better job in terms of development of its side of the river, obviously, while economical opportunities of these two countries are basically not comparable. So yeah, North Korea looks pretty miserable on a distance. But look at that, there is another bridge which China lately built, like an alternative connection of China and North Korea. And I heard that there were some arguments between China and North Korea who is going to build the last portion of the bridge on the North Korean side, because basically North Korea decided to play a cheap bastard and they refused building the last portion of the bridge. But Chinese thought that, well, they are indeed bastards, but they didn't do it as well. So for a while this bridge didn't work, and I have no idea actually if it's functional nowadays or not. So basically my theory has just been confirmed by our Chinese tour guide. The bridge on the background is not operational for many years, just because North Korea didn't build the approach to that bridge and China refused to do it as well. The North Korean city of Sinuiju is only partially visible from China. You can see the riverside and the first row of apartment buildings along the water. Everything beyond that remains out of sight. This is why Sinuiju is often described as a showcase. By North Korean standards, Sinuiju is relatively privileged, with more economic activity and better access to goods. This is a main overland border hub and an important center of trade with China. For this reason, residence there is more often granted to people working in government institutions, border infrastructure, and transport. It doesn't mean that only elites live there, but the level of selection and control is noticeably higher than in most other cities. This is the foundation of an old railway bridge which existed here in the past, so some railway tracks were leading to North Korea at this point, and I guess it was used in times of the Korean War in the 1950s. Well, honestly, I have no idea where we are going right now because we are already quite far away from the city, so the bus is just going somewhere northbound. The tour is getting even more and more interesting, and funnily enough, we haven't even started the boat part of the tour, so let's see what happens. So we've just passed the eastern section of the Great Wall, which I visited yesterday, and our bus drove a little bit further, and we reached the place which must be some kind of the souvenir shop. It totally looks like beer originating in North Korea, so I was using Google Translate with Korean language, and it translated this word as Eat Pyongyang, so there must be the name of the North Korean capital mentioned here. I just realized that they're also selling North Korean electronic devices, so look at that, these are trimmers. Oh, that's how it looks actually. See, they have the North Korean flag on their packaging. So we just made it to an entirely random village somewhere on the border of China and North Korea, and the lady tour guide claims that the boat tour is going to start from here. So this is the starting point of our boat trip, supposedly some abandoned industrial zone and the unknown seaport, not the sea but river port actually. So there is this little e-vehicle which is going to drive us to basically the pier from where the boat is about to pick us up. Hopefully we will not be smuggled into North Korea, because for now this is how people are getting lost. The advantage of traveling with local Chinese people is that you can suddenly end up in a discreet river port on the border of China and North Korea. Sketchy looking boats that look like the transfer all the way to the Kim Jong-un Empire, which you can see from this standpoint, by the way. There is nothing going on the side of North Korea. I can only see one semi-abandoned house over there. I mean, honestly, I just expected that we are going to have some short boat tour around some basic sites of Dandong. But no, we actually went deep inside China to get as close as possible to North Korea in some of the most unexpected places. So the boat tour has officially started. Now we have a chance to travel from a random harbor in China's bumfuck nowhere, only to get closer to North Korea. We will not be able to step on the land of North Korea, but we are seeing it from the closest possible point right now. And right now we are witnessing an actual border guard tower with potentially a person sitting inside it. This is a pretty simple fence. However, I'm sure that there is a bunch of border guards guarding this fence, and once you're in the river, you're exposed to them. See these tiny ditches, they're probably sitting there. This island, as long as this territory, this is North Korea. So we are fully surrounded by their territory. We are not in the waterway of China. Jesus, that's not what you expect from a local Chinese guided tour. We can see the tractor which is owned by some North Korean farmers. The island in the middle of the river belongs to North Korea. Guys, this tour went too far. We are officially in the waters of North Korea. This island which we can see, it's North Korea. This is its mainland, and we are crossing the river on the ship under the Chinese flag. Incredible. We can see the boat of Koreans parked at the island. Well, I don't see people inside. Our ship is now trying to tackle the river flow, which is very hectic at this point, but it's making it. And this portion of land in the middle of the river is basically where the border between countries is situated. So we are gradually getting back to the China water space, you can say, and leaving North Korea completely behind us. Yeah, that was an incredible adventure. Now I'm getting curious what actually happens if the boat breaks down in the waters of North Korea. Is it supposed to wharf there, like stop there, park there? I don't know. It's all good. So we are getting back to our bus, and I guess we're getting back to the city. So the tour has finished. It was incredible. We were able to get to some very unexpected locations on the border of China and North Korea. Definitely well spent 120 RMB, which is basically less than 20 bucks. For 20 bucks we were cruising around this entire area for more than 4 hours. So the experience in the border area of China and North Korea wouldn't be fulfilling if I didn't try some actually North Korean food. Well, this is the restaurant environment. The ladies kindly asked me not to film them, the waiters, because they're actually coming from North Korea. This is what I've just been served. I ordered the dark beer, so they gave me a glass of water, a slice of watermelon, and here we go with some form of kimchi. But it's like solid kimchi, you know, and it's quite spicy. So this is like a cucumber, which is accompanied by this like sliced carrot. And this is a little fish, which must be salty. Yeah, just like salty fish. So you have to mix it, right? Yes. Okay. So it is an interesting dish, which is initially served with the raw beef, but the beef is getting slightly roasted inside the bowl. So the bowl itself is hot, very hot. The beef is cooked inside it, basically. And then all of the ingredients are mixed all together. This is how the mixed dish looks. To be honest, initially it looked more attractive, but still it's totally fine. You can feel cucumbers, you can feel the egg as one of the ingredients. So initially it was like a raw egg yolk, but after mixing all together, the egg became solid and it's almost like an omelette right now. Overall, it tastes good. Not overly sweet, not overly spicy, not overly salty. Just a good dish for lunch or dinner, not for breakfast for sure. 7.5 out of 10. We made everything possible related to North Korea here. We even managed to get inside North Korea, technically, right? In the waters of North Korea today with that boat tour. Thanks to you guys, thanks to your contribution, because if you didn't watch my videos, I wouldn't be able to film them, basically, right? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified about new videos, new uploads. Leave the comment, please, it's important for the promotion of this video. And yeah, that's it. See you soon.